The Genesis Code of Celibacy. Ancient wisdom for raising born winners in the noise of the modern world where instant gratification is worshipped, and self-control is dismissed as outdated. A few men still walk the ancient path of sacred power. They don't chase pleasure, they channel it. They don't spill their seed, they guard it like a divine treasure. This is the forgotten science. The Genesis Code of Celibacy, the paths that ancient sages, philosophers, and prophets once lived by to awaken their higher genius and shape extraordinary lineages. The forgotten science of creation energy. Celibacy isn't repression, it's redirection. In every man, there lies a raw force called creative energy, the same energy that can give birth to life, art, invention, or genius. Ancient culture saw semen as the distilled essence of life. Oya is in Sanskrit, a spiritual fuel that sustains brilliance, courage, and vitality. In the body, it's not just fluid, it's condensed electricity, consciousness made dense. It carries the blueprint of creation itself. When wasted aimlessly through constant indulgence, that life force drains away. But when contained and sublimated, it transforms the man. His voice deepens. His gaze sharpens. His aura thickens. His intuition grows. He becomes magnetic, not from ego, but from energetic integrity. The ancient Vedic masters said, "One drop of semen is created from 40 drops of blood. Preserve it, and you preserve your power." Celibacy was never about suppression, it was about conservation and elevation. The transmutation of lust into light. The conversion of lower desires into higher awareness. Why the modern world dismisses celibacy? The modern system thrives on your weakness. Every advertisement, every app, every distraction is engineered to extract your attention and ultimately, your energy. You scroll, you chase, you release, and then wonder why your spirit feels empty. Celibacy challenges that entire system. It's rebellion at the energetic level. A man who controls his seed cannot be controlled by society. His mind becomes sovereign. His desires no longer dictate him, he dictates them. That's why the ancients regarded celibates, brahmacharis, as men of divine mind. From monks to warriors to inventors, history hides a pattern. Men who channeled sexual energy became visionaries. Nikola Tesla practiced lifelong celibacy, believing sexual energy was the fuel of his intellect. Leonardo da Vinci observed abstinence, stating that lust clouds clarity. Swami Vivekananda, Jesus, Buddha, and countless mystics all walked this sacred path, mastering the energy that others squandered. Celibacy isn't denial. It's discipline that transforms passion into perception, and lust into luminosity. Celibacy and the genetic frequency of birth. Here lies the Genesis Code, the link between a man's purity and the quality of the child he can create. In ancient spiritual science, conception wasn't an accident. It was a ritual of consciousness. The idea was simple, yet profound. When two beings unite physically, they merge not just biology, but vibration. The consciousness of both at that moment determines the kind of soul that incarnates through them. If the man is drained, addicted, distracted, or low in spiritual energy, the seed he contributes carries that vibration. But if he's radiant with vitality, grounded in discipline, filled with higher purpose, his seed becomes divine. It becomes the vessel for a higher soul. This is what ancient texts referred to when they spoke of children born of tapasya. Children conceived from spiritual power and purity. They weren't just physically healthy, they were born with clarity, intuition, courage, and grace. They were born winners. This is not mythology, it's vibrational biology. Every emotion, every thought, every act of lust or self-control changes the chemical and energetic signature of your seed. Modern epigenetics confirms that the environment, including mental and emotional states, influences gene expression. Ancient yogis simply understood this at a deeper, spiritual level. The alchemy of retention. When a man practices celibacy or even mindful semen retention, something alchemical happens. The body begins to recycle the unspent energy upward through the spinal channel, the Sushumna Nadi, nourishing the brain, heart, and nervous system. The pineal and pituitary glands, spiritual centers, awaken. The eyes become clearer, thoughts more powerful, intuition sharper. This upward flow of energy was called Kundalini rising. It's the inner evolution from animal instinct to divine awareness, from physical pleasure to cosmic purpose. In this process, the seed transforms into light. The same energy that could create a physical child now begins creating a spiritual birth within the man himself, birthing wisdom, insight, and inner mastery. That's why ancient masters said, "He who can create life externally can create enlightenment internally." Through celibacy, man learns to give birth not just to children, but to worlds of thought, innovation, and art. The sacred union and divine conception. When both partners embody this purity, when a man and woman unite in consciousness, not lust, a different kind of creation unfolds. This union becomes a sacred act, a conscious channeling of divine energy into form. In Vedic tradition, couples would prepare for conception through months of celibacy, meditation, mantra, and purification. They understood that the moment of conception imprints the child's destiny. The mental state, diet, energy, and purpose of both parents become part of the child's spiritual DNA. Such preparation gave rise to extraordinary souls, enlightened beings, leaders, and geniuses. That is the Genesis Code, not superstition, but spiritual genetics. Even in ancient Greece, Pythagoras and Plato spoke of purifying the seed through chastity before conception. In Taoist philosophy, Zhijing, the essence of life must be preserved and refined before creating offspring, ensuring the child inherits superior vitality and consciousness. When a man who has mastered his energy unites with a conscious woman, the act becomes divine creation, not mere pleasure. The child born from that vibration carries encoded excellence, a born winner, not because of privilege, but because of vibrational inheritance. Why celibacy creates genius. Celibacy builds inner pressure. The energy that once rushed outward through desire now builds within. This compression refines the mind, fuels focus, and expands awareness. It's like turning coal into diamond through heat and time. Every man of greatness felt this fire. When sexual energy is retained, it doesn't die, it transforms. It powers vision, concentration, and creative genius. That's why yogis called semen tejas, the fire of intelligence. When preserved, it becomes radiant intellect. When wasted, it becomes dullness and fatigue. Think of the brain as a temple that runs on sacred oil. Each act of waste burns that oil. Each act of restraint multiplies it. Over months, the difference becomes extraordinary in energy, in charisma, in spiritual authority. This is the invisible advantage of celibate masters. They don't leak their genius. They cultivate it. Celibacy is spiritual warfare in a world that glorifies lust. Celibacy is rebellion. The man who practices it wages war against his lower nature. He faces temptation daily, and every victory strengthens his soul. Modern culture confuses freedom with indulgence. But true freedom begins when you are free from yourself. Celibacy is the highest form of self-discipline, not to reject pleasure, but to master it. When you no longer chase women, validation, or stimulation, your energy returns home. You radiate a calm strength that women feel instinctively. You become the mountain, steady, grounded, unmoved. That's why celibate men, throughout history, have had an aura of authority and reverence, because they command themselves before commanding others. The modern adaptation, conscious retention. You don't need to become a monk to live the Genesis Code. Celibacy is not always absolute abstinence, it's awareness. It means using sexual energy consciously, not compulsively. A man practicing mindful retention can still engage in sacred intimacy, but with discipline and purpose, not lust and loss. He learns to circulate energy through the body, exchange it with love, and avoid unnecessary depletion. This is the middle path, balancing spiritual evolution with human connection. It's the modern embodiment of the ancient vow master energy. Don't waste it. Celibacy and the birth of a new humanity. The future belongs to those who rediscover this lost science. A generation addicted to pleasure cannot produce greatness, but a generation that masters energy can reshape civilization. Imagine children conceived in purity, raised in awareness. Born with clarity, not born from accident or lust, but from conscious creation. That's how a new humanity begins, through energetic evolution. Celibacy is not just personal power, it's cosmic responsibility. It's the man's way of refining his contribution to the human race. When he chooses discipline over desire, he alters the spiritual DNA of generations to come. This is a Genesis Code. Purity creates power. Power creates purpose. Purpose creates legacy. The return of the sacred masculine. For centuries, the sacred masculine has been mocked, diluted, and shamed. But now, it's returning through men who remember that their seed is sacred. Celibacy is the training ground of kings. It teaches patience, presence, and purpose. It transforms men from consumers into creators, from slaves of desire into masters of destiny. When a man walks this path, his very presence becomes prayer. He no longer needs to chase. He attracts effortlessly, not just women, but opportunities, respect, and divine favor. Because the universe bends toward those who control their own fire. The final revelation, celibacy, is not about denying life, it's about becoming the source of life. The Genesis Code is simple. Guard your seed, elevate your mind, and when you create, do it consciously. Whether it's a child, a vision, or a legacy, let it be born from strength, not weakness. Let it carry the vibration of your highest self. You were not meant to be ordinary. You were meant to channel creation itself, to raise worlds, to birth brilliance, to walk as light in human form. Celibacy is the forgotten key, the code hidden in plain sight to awaken that destiny. This is the Genesis Code, the alchemy of seed and soul. The wisdom of the ancients returns for the men of today, not to escape the world, but to rebuild it. Retain your fire, refine your focus, reclaim your throne. For the child born from a man of mastery will not inherit mediocrity, he will inherit greatness. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you are watching from. And if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel, where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description.